Hi, I'm Rabbi Jeremy from Mahar, and as I speak, we've just started the month of Elul. Elul in the Hebrew calendar is the month that comes right before the month of Tishrei, which isn't meaningful unless you know that Rosh Hashanah is the first day of the month of Tishrei. So we are in the run-up right now to the high holidays. And one of the things that's memorable for a lot of people in the high holidays is blowing the shofar. That it doesn't feel like it's the high holidays if they haven't heard the shofar blown. So what's going on with that anyway? Why do we blow the shofar? And actually blowing the shofar starts for a lot of Jewish communities in Elul. So we just started the month of Elul. Blowing the shofar starts right around now for a lot of people. And the point of blowing the shofar at the end of the day is to alert people to the time when, in rabbinic understanding, not when repentance starts, but the time when repentance is viewed most propitiously, most effectively, that kind of thing. And blowing the shofar is actually not mentioned explicitly in the Torah, but blowing a horn is mentioned with regard to Rosh Hashanah. So one of the verses in the Tanakh, in the Torah, talks about how a holiday, it's not called Rosh Hashanah, a holiday on the first day of the 7th month, and in another video we'll talk about how is Rosh Hashanah the beginning of the year, but also the first day of the 7th month, because that's a little strange. That day, the first day of the 7th month, will be a Yom Teruah, a day of blowing, a day of alarm. And it doesn't say the word shofar. Shofar is mentioned in other places in the Tanakh, and the rabbis have sort of extrapolated to decide that what we're really talking about here is blowing the shofar, right? The ram's horn, or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of why it comes into Jewish practice. And today what we'll talk about a little bit more is how exactly you blow the shofar, what's going on when you blow the shofar. So I have a couple of different shofarot. The plural for shofar is shofarot. I have this, which is a kind of fairly traditional small ram's horn. And I have this, which almost doesn't fit on the screen. This is the horn of a kind of antelope called a gemsbok. Every shofar, different size, different shape, different sound, have different sounds generally. So there are some that have a deeper sound, some that are a little more squeaky, some are easier to blow than others based on their size, based on the shape of the mouth, the shape of the mouthpiece. You can see that these have slightly different mouthpiece shapes. And they're each challenging to blow in their own way, but they each produce a different sound. So we'll talk about what the 4 basic shofar blowing sounds are, and when they happen, and what they sound like, with a couple of different shofarot that I have with me right now. So the 4 basic sounds are tekiah, which means to blow or to hit. Shavarim, shavarim means broken, and so tekiah is a single note. Shavarim is that single note's length broken into thirds. Teruah means alarm, and teruah is actually 9 short bursts that are supposed to equal the same length of time as tekiah. And then tekiah gedolah is the really long one that happens at the very last shofar blowing on a particular day. During the high holidays, you don't do tekiah gedolah just any old time. So what do these sound like with a different shofar? So I'll start with the gemsbok one, and then we'll use the smaller one because it's a little easier to blow. So this is what tekiah sounds like. One blow. Shavarim is 3 of those, or rather one the same length but broken into thirds. So that's shavarim, 3 short ones. Teruah is 9, very quick succession. quick. And then Tekiah Gedolah, you just blow for as long as you can. I'm not going to do that right now because I won't have enough air to demonstrate the other one. But to compare the sounds, this is the Gemsbach one. And this is the more traditional ram's horn. And you can hear it's a higher pitched sound, and it didn't take as much work for me to get air out of it. So Tekiah with this one, right? Pretty easy. Shvarim. Trua, 9 quick ones, right? And then Tekiah Gedolah is a really long blow. I'm not going to do that so I don't wake up the neighbors. So you can get a sense for what those sounded like, right? So the smaller one was a little bit more shrill, a little more piercing. The longer one was a little deeper and a little more mellow. And they just have different sounds depending on what they're made out of, how long they are, the shape. This is a little more straight. It's easier to blow a long one like this than you maybe have seen the Yemeni ones. They're from the horn of an antelope called a kudu, which is this long twisted horn. Those can be really difficult to blow. So those are the basic shofar sounds with a couple of different shofarot for you to get a feel for how those sound. We'll be blowing shofar at Machar for our high holiday services, even though our services will be online this year. So you'll get a chance to hear yet another shofar because our Baal Tekiah has his own shofar. Our Baal Tekiah is the person who is the master of shofar blowing, or the person that's entrusted with blowing shofar for the congregation. Our Baal Tekiah will blow a shofar that he has. So his will sound still different from the other two that I blew as well. And you can find out more about our services online for the high holidays this year at machar.org. That's MACHAR.org. Thanks for watching.